Have you had any experience with external people going into your business?
Yes. So this is pretty juicy. So I am very blessed to have a lot of people, friends and family, and just a huge community. With the walk community, I see the same faces every single day. Some of these people I've seen over 100 times, some of those in a row. And I have a lot of people who care about me and want to see me succeed, want to see me happy and safe. And in my romantic relationships, I think I usually have a pretty good picker. Either, like we talked about in the past, I was with like a high quality guy, or I was like somewhat settling. So, like, maybe was still a really, really good guy, but it just wasn't the one. So, nobody really felt the need to say anything to me. But there was one specific relationship. I like how you made that face.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about?
No, there's one specific relationship that, and I'll just back up and give you some context. I was in probably the height of my scarcity mindsets when I was in this relationship. And I basically met this guy when I was in the trenches of believing that I was running out of time and that I wouldn't have been able to have kids if I didn't find someone soon, that I couldn't find exactly what I was looking for. So this person checked most of the boxes and I could make that last 30% just work. You know, I could brute force by the sheer power of will, make this relationship work. And to be honest with you, because I had all these scarcity mindsets, I was very willing to look the other way in early dating. So there were red flags everywhere, a red flag factory when I was dating this guy, but because of my overwhelming scarcity and belief that I could not have the love that I wanted in my heart of hearts, I went along with it. And just to give you some details, when we met for our first date, we went to a concert. Now he really planned everything beautifully. He was very thoughtful on sending a car, and he was in the car. And we had talked for like probably a week over phone call, voice notes, and text. And I was feeling really good. I felt like we had really good conversations. We had a good chemistry and a good flow. But then when I get into the Uber that got sent to my apartment, he starts being like a little touchy with me and a little too familiar with me. I now know that to be a red flag, right? But the scarcity made me look the other way. I'm just thinking, oh, we just have such great chemistry, right? And he was pretty early on, like crossing some boundaries. Now, it wasn't anything crazy. It could have been explained away, right? By just, oh, we have amazing chemistry. But I realize now that a lot of what was happening at the beginning of that relationship was to almost hijack my emotions into looking the other way when things would go badly. So the best way I could describe it would be like these super high highs, these like really intense feelings. And then it would be like we'd have a big fight or disagreement. So I'd go down. And then the next day it'd be like he brings me flowers and plans this beautiful dinner. And then we fight over something random, like he starts mad dogging the dude in the car next to us who's driving by. He had pretty big anger issues. He was quite jealous of other men who would even look in our direction. So this became slowly a very toxic relationship that I wasn't in for very long, thank God. But at around the 5-month mark, he had approached my friends about proposing to me. And my friend Annie basically freaked out and was like, okay, I got to put the kibosh on this. Like, this has gone too far. Like, I think all of the people in my life saw that I was in a relationship with someone who really desired me, was choosing me, like very, very like ferociously. I mean, that's the word. It was really strongly choosing me. And they wanted me to experience that. I also wasn't telling them the full truth of what was going on in that relationship. So they did not know how tumultuous it actually was. I think a lot of the time when you're in a relationship like this, you withhold the bad parts of the person because you know if you were to tell the full truth, the people who love you in your life would say, get out of there. And they would follow up with you and be like, why haven't you left? Or we really don't like this for you. And I was withholding a lot of the truths of that relationship from my friends. So it got to a boiling point where my friend Annie had to intervene. She did not want him to get to the place where he proposed to me. So she contacted my sister and was like, Michaela, we need to right this ship. We need to course correct here. I don't trust this relationship. Doesn't feel good to me. There's something like under the surface that seems very tumultuous. Elle's not acting like herself. I was dimming my light a lot for him because he would have these explosive like anger outbursts. And I'm a community builder. I meet people all the time. So when we go out and I'd be talking to people, men and women, there would be a very felt sense of jealousy and anger underlying all of these interactions that in some cases made me like drive home in the Uber crying because I couldn't figure out like, this is just who I am as a person. And I don't know why you're so upset at me when I would never cheat on you. I would never betray you. I would never breach your trust. So that's just to give you a sense of what the relationship was like. It was a roller coaster of emotions. My friend Annie intervened. My sister then came into the picture. And I had a coming to Jesus moment where I was like, oh my God, this just needs to end. And by that point, I was very open to it. I had all these conversations with my friends and I just saw the relationship for what it was. The relationship happened because I did not believe that at the time I was worthy of the love I truly desired. And I settled for somebody who is doing all the right things, but it didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel good, didn't feel safe. And that's what all my friends and family ended up feeling from afar after meeting him very, very briefly. And so I ended up ending the relationship. That was difficult. If you've ever been in a very roller coaster, toxic, abusive relationship, it's very hard to walk away quickly because you will try to put your foot down and say, this doesn't feel right to me and I'm going to leave. But then for some reason, there's always one more conversation, one more meeting, one more, let me try to convince you I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to do this, and the other thing that pulls you back. And thankfully, that part only lasted about a month for me. But for a lot of women and men who have that experience in their lives, that can go on for years, sometimes an entire lifetime. And I know friends and people in my family who have been in that push and pull of a very upsetting, toxic dynamic for over half their lives. And they're just now getting out of them. So I'm so grateful to have had my friends and family follow their intuitions and say, this just doesn't feel right. We don't feel like this is a relationship for you. We also know you don't feel this is a relationship for you. So what's happening here? Thank you so much for watching that clip. I hope you enjoyed it and felt a little love or joy sprinkled into your day. If you want to watch another one, you can go here, or somewhere all around here. I hope you have a great day. Bye. Love you.